Today we're talking about something that we take very lightly. Very, very lightly. We're talking. You know what I mean?
And lately a lot of us have been speaking out. You know, I don't want to say influencers because can I get a celebrity because Lara not celebrity but how was to say hello to story Melanie, we are saying this is mama got local learners and mama how meet and you're just like, huh?
Yeah, no, but I think this is why we have it here today with this conversation, because this word but it seems like it carries a lot of weight, and she's here to tell us more. Velimina, welcome back to Yarn FM. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, you guys. And forgive me for disappearing once again.
I missed you.
But yeah.
But today we're talking about defamation.
Yes.
Defamation. It's a word that we've heard since we were kids, and I think it's been watered down because everybody does it now. I gotta have the consequence. I gotta have I want to do some the defamation.
Well, defamation, you are unlawfully publishing statements about an individual or a collective with the intent that ends up lowering their status or their name before right-thinking members of society. It's important to describe it that way in full. There's an element of lowering someone before the eyes of right-thinking members. Because to say something, Melanie, they're in a relationship. In some, one would not necessarily say that would lower their eyes before. Well, I think that is a different example. Maybe you're saying Velimina is married. You are publishing it. You are married. You know, just because I got hurt and I didn't want to publish that information does not necessarily mean it is defamation, unless it lowers my my reputation or it lowers me before right-thinking members of society.
So the key word is lowering.
There's that.
All right. Fair. What is that? You feel defamation.
The lowering.
So as long as that.
And actually, that is something else that you can sue for. Like insults and all of those things. There's something that is referred to as dignitas, where if something doesn't necessarily meet the threshold, defamation, because it's a threshold here, then you can fall on to say someone has impeded on your dignity, or they've harmed your dignity. Because then it can fall on, you know, dignity and all of those things. And also emotional harm, you can sue for the emotional harm that you suffer. Because Facebook, you are getting bullied now. People are and it becomes a thing. No, like seriously. And then it affects your mental health. Therapy. You can actually sue for those things.
So Maloba, there was a popular celeb. If I do so say myself. That music is not dope. Yeah, and I just want to know opinion and fact. Where do we draw the line when it comes to that? Melanie blind. Melanie does not know how to sing. That's my opinion. Am I defamation? Who are right thinking members of society? Because I think also you need to just let us know how to phrase it.
Yes, no, I'll get into that. But I think something that I need to clarify when it comes to defamation is that usually there are 4 elements that need to be satisfied, right? The first one is wrongful conduct. Whenever the statement is on its face defamatory. And interestingly enough, in some other other countries, emojis can be used for emoji.
Which country told me?
There was a case in Australia, actually. I think it was in 2019 or something, where it was held that emojis can be used to defame someone. Botswana, we haven't had any cases like that.
Okay.
So, but that's the law. Ghana, the law globally can affect the law locally.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to be careful. Okay. If they imply something that is defamatory, it can be held to that standard. You know? And then also lay reference to the plaintiff. A reasonable person would understand it to be about that specific individual, right? So if it's a general thing to say, Batswana haba creative, it's not specific to anyone. But Sway AI, you know, because that statement is defamatory. If you're an artist, you're and you live off of your music, because it can actually affect your standing before right-thinking members of society, your supporters.
Daniels.
You do. You owe him an apology. And then also there has to be another element is publication. It was communicated to at least one person besides motho yo filang gore o defamile. So hela la ha re seba hela ke na le mailing. Ke o ra mailing ke re hela kana so ya re wa opela me. Kera na ra itse ro dirisa AI. So long as there was one or more person, that counts as defamation. So that
what if it's true?
So that we'll get to that. We'll get to that, right? And then the fourth one is fault, in that there ought to have been an intention. Ya go cause harm. Go re go buiwa o bonela re ha yo una le mathata le swe o batla go mothakathakanyetsa dilo hela. That is the intention. Or negligence, because now we don't have the intention, but ole motho hela yo motho motona wa khona go itse gore mahoko a khona gore affect motho yang. So it could be said you were negligent, right? So this is where we need to draw the line between fact and opinion. Fact is a statement capable of being proven to be true or false. So kanya gore, what if solo ile nnete? Okay, fine. You've told the truth, but truth is not a complete defense, defamation. It has to come with public interest. Just because something is true doesn't mean you need to say it, Sway. I'm just saying.
Basically, what she's saying is
right? For example, sometimes just because Melanie, is a lesbian, doesn't mean you need to say it. Just giving you an example, right? It doesn't mean it has no bearing for the public interest.
Let me ask. Let's say a guy comes here about it. I want Melanie, I want to date Melanie. No, lesbian. So that's defamation.
I mean, if Melanie finds out and you've lowered, because umukubetsa perspective
no, this is impossible.
Because and that's why you need to be it's very fair. And I think this is a very important conversation to have, because especially when it comes to Facebook, a lot of people tend to say a lot of defamatory statements, on Facebook. Okay. Yeah, so you need to understand that. And then an opinion is a value judgment or evaluative comment. For example, Melanie is no longer creative. That's just your opinion, and it reads as a subjective assessment of someone's work.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But you need to be mindful of the things that you say. But if you are stating it as facts, as if it's facts, you are saying Kari.
So you are giving constructive criticism. Imagine I want
radio, and for example, I love this man's music, but I say I don't love Kabza's music. I really don't. I don't think it's dope. And then I say that
I think you should add things like I feel and I think.
Wow.
So it's understood to be an opinion.
Wow.
No, because
it
needs to be clear that that's your opinion. Right?
Yeah, that's stating facts.
Okay. And allegedly. you have to put that disclaimer so that people understand that what you are stating could be something that is not necessarily true, and they shouldn't take your word for it, right? And when it comes to the question of who is a reasonable person, right?
Thinking member of society.
Yes, who is a reasonable thinking member of society? We judge you based on who you are, right?
Okay.
For example, if we are to consider who's hakotamo gonna, Phatsimo, Velemina, you've been defamed. Ke feel like Sway has defamed me, right? Defamed me. Otsa ho bua gore nya yo ene bile Ojamadi added client, right?
Yes, okay.
Right?
As an example, right?
As an example, right?
Hey, we gotta put it out there.
As an example, right?
As an example.
Right?
You see, I'm not
Ojamadi added client, right?
Yeah.
Hwaho jajiwa in terms of my peers, other attorneys, or how does that look? What is that reputation? Hari kala before those types of people, would it be said to be defamatory? Those are the reasonable thinking members of society. Like you're in that particular society, who's who looks to Phatsimo, right? Who looks to Velemina as an attorney, right? So that's who we look at, the society itself. Right?
Okay.
From that angle.
Okay. All right, everybody. Recess. Let's just gather ourselves. I think we've learned so much. We're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna continue the conversation as much as we can. If not, we'll definitely be having a part 2 because give you a lot of defamation. Okay,
this is a very important. Okay, so the thing is, this is what I was saying. Actually, something being true and being of public interest is a complete defense to defamation.
Okay.
So if you have seen and you have the evidence, you can prove what it means.
Evidence.
If you can prove that if it's true and it's for the public interest. So how we about issues concerning like politicians and all of those things.
Yes.
Those people's actions affect
us.
You get me. So what they do, and if it's for the public interest, like in newspapers, they will report for 200 million. Onyamaletse hela ebe gona ngolwa maina a batho ba bakileng ba heta 200 million yo wa timetseng teng. That is not defamatory, mostly because if it's true, it's true,
it's factual,
and it's for the public interest. The public needs to understand what is happening with regards to public funds.
Okay, so that means I can say.
So that what if you can oh my God, hey, like Highland meat. And my thing is.
One defamer moto. 4:52 Yarn FM, second hour of the show. Every single day you like to learn a little something about everything, right? And today, every single Monday, we jump into all conversations about the law. Until that day, it's you. Just recently we actually speaking about this off air. Saxophone and the whole room get louder.
They get louder because of what I'm about to say. Another thing that I've actually noticed that a lot of people don't know is that Botswana doesn't necessarily have like a limit to liability. Who can be I'm getting to it. Who can be held liable. So for Facebook, that's the perfect playground, the hell defamation. So it doesn't have a limit, right? So every act of publication is potentially its own thing. For example, you post something about Velemina on Facebook. Velemina lawyer hela yamboza. Jam my daddy client yada, right?
Sure.
You don't add bo allegedly ring. and it's defamatory, right?
Okay.
Melanie ba share a post you.
Hey.
That is a fresh publication.
What do you mean?
That is a fresh publication. That's what I
Tell
mean.
Melanie.
Only Melanie can say that as a party gore wa dumalana le se se buiwang.
Wow.
And
But
all
we've
of
seen
that.
We've seen that that girl. What the man?
Which girl is this?
Now get sabalo go bua maina.
Yes.
T.
Really
So this girl abe batho ba posta gore hey this person the deceased on are responsible like 1 2 3 but ba bua ba le bantsintiana ale one ha se teddy bear aba di tsara go share ale one aba go tsaya ene aba come like this with apology defamation.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so you go khanare 100 shares obo ba bata maina bone obo ba saita as the parts. If you want to go pick a little 3 hela baba like baba like obo ba saita gore ibile lo na ibele share. No, like honestly, even when someone comes and defames someone to you, ako bolela gore wena wo hitisa kgang o bolela it's mama you are publishing a fresh you are defaming someone why ebe re ka moso e re gote gore nyana ne ke bolela ke Melanie ga re gane wena wo hitisa kgang. So that's a fresh publication on its own. Wow, and you can be held jointly and severally liable gore le tshwara le tsaya ka motho a le one kana ebile the law doesn't prevent or ka pika ba bohelo go bua kana ona le ha gare ebile le gore ene ona e retile thata. The law like there's no limitation, so that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Or even when you share things online, you need to be very careful.
Share is
be very careful. Let our share le khamello kante wa ikholega. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you are holding yourself liable for something that you could have easily prevented because someone is being defamed.
All right, we're hanging out with Evelimina. We're speaking all things Molau. We call it Lawyered Up. Today we're speaking about defamation. We had a couple more conversations to have, questions, to put to her, but unfortunately we are going to be running out of time in about 5 minutes. So this next one, Chomi, you just need to let us know. It's allegedly hatred, right?
Allegedly I feel like
apparently these cases are very difficult to prove. So in like your experience, what are some of the reasons defamation cases fail in Botswana?
Well, for starters, one of the issues is publication cannot be proven. It becomes difficult for me. So publication is usually difficult to prove.
Okay.
Secondly, and also publication becomes difficult to prove the ghost accounting on Facebook. You get what I'm saying? If we are giving an example on Facebook. So that's usually one of the cases.
Okay.
And then the plaintiff isn't clearly identifiable, like I've just said. A ghost account, all of those things, right? And then the statements turns out to be true. That is one of the things that usually make cases that defamation or defame, right? Because truth plus public benefit is a complete defense. Truth plus is no, that's not enough. It has to be public benefit as well. That is a complete defense. Truth alone is not enough, right?
Okay.
And then so in some instances you find that the defamation cases fail because of that defense.
Okay.
And then it qualifies as fair comment or falls under qualified privilege.
Okay.
For example, statements made in good faith, in protection of a right or interest, right?
Okay.
Or statements made at court. Those are defamed you. Those are protected statements, right?
Okay.
There's that privilege. And then it was just a genuine mistake, or something said in jest or a heated exchange.
Okay.
That can also save you if indeed it was said in jest or as a heated exchange, right? Or a genuine mistake. you didn't get your facts right, but you know there wasn't necessarily some negligence that was reached, right?
Okay.
And then also it's a weak case. There's no proof of harm,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Where there's not necessarily any reputational and financial damage, which is difficult to or hard to quantify, right? Because courts want more than hurt feelings. It's not enough. You have to indicate after you said I started losing out on clients. Clients were pulling out.
I see.
So that the court can at least try to be able to quantify the losses that you have experienced. Right?
Before we go on, like before I go on, so if you said that and then I end up sabrana, so that's emotional damage, right?
So you have to indicate how did that entire experience affect your overall life, or how did it harm you in terms, especially financially? Maybe you've had to now be on unpaid leave. You get me?
Yes.
Because of course, pateling and all of those things. So you quantify you have to be able to assist the court with quantifying the losses that you've actually incurred. And then lastly, the practical and evidentiary gaps are one of the reasons that make defamatory cases hard to prove mo Botswana. Like kana di screenshot ha di submit we have court, they have to be authenticated, right? So the inability to authenticate those types of things, sibile in the world of AI, now generate GPT I've never said that, right? Is one of those things that can sometimes cause hiccups in terms of defamatory cases being successful mo Botswana.
Wilhelmina coming in with that law 101. We're speaking all things defamation, but this is only part 1. I think we're going to pick it up because the voice note close on the case we are continuing this conversation, part 2 of defamation, next week Monday between 4:30 and 5 p.m. Wilhelmina, quickly, where can we catch you in case we can
You can catch me. My office is in Block 9. Block 9, plot 25772, Polokwe Road, Gaborone. And we're on Facebook, Wilhelmina Law Office. We're on Instagram, Wilhelmina Law Office. We're on LinkedIn, Wilhelmina Law Office. We're not on Twitter because Twitter defamed. So but catch us there. Our WhatsApp number is 715444031. Quick to respond. We're always available.
Love it. Wilhelmina coming in, just teaching us part 1 of defamation. It is 5:01. We do apologize for the late broadcast of the bulletin coming in. With more. After that, of course, the sports update with Taba Matane. Check it out.